what happened up there?
Pictures with
Yep, we talked to
massive
her.
massive hemorrhaging. Not to mention he had a torn and his was black and blue from someone ripping at it.
This is 28-year-old Jason Paget, calmly grinning as detectives recount how he tortured his girlfriend's son, Aiden Batista. Despite Jason's violent past, his girlfriend, Whitney Flowers, had left the boy in his care. But on April 7th, 2010, things took a turn for the worse.
We have 5 witnesses saying that they have seen you close fist punch him in the head, slap him in the face, drag him across the parking lot.
That's a lie.
Strike him, throw him off a scooter, and then hit him with it.
As the investigation intensifies, detectives are yet to discover whether it's a calculated plan or something even darker lurking behind the scenes.
It comes together
What up?
and it makes you look really bad.
Yeah, it does.
It makes you look like a real monster.
It was a quiet night in Palm Bay, Florida on April 7th, 2010, until a frantic 911 call from Whitney Flowers, the mother of 2-year-old Aiden Batista, shattered the silence of the otherwise quiet neighborhood. Aiden was found unresponsive, his body limp and his breathing shallow. Whitney's boyfriend, Jason Paget, who had been babysitting Aiden that night, claimed the boy had simply fallen off a toilet. But when doctors at Arnold Palmer Hospital saw the extent of Aiden's injuries, they were left stunned by the brutality Aiden had suffered. The following day, on April 8th, 2010, Aiden succumbed to his wounds, leaving behind only questions and a trail of chilling evidence. Based on the evidence and testimonies, Jason was brought into custody for questioning. What followed would uncover a night far darker than anyone had ever anticipated.
Okay, because he didn't fall from a toilet. Okay?
Did you ask that
I'll
little girl
show you
what happened up
porno
there?
pictures with
Yep, we talked to
massive
her.
hemorrhaging. Massive hemorrhaging.
I don't know.
So deep into the brain that it's physically impossible. Not to mention he had a torn and his was black and blue from someone ripping at it.
No.
How does that happen
That
from a
damn sure
fall?
wasn't for me.
Because you
See,
were
Dude, that damn.
you're
I didn't know all
also
that.
charged with battery on
Are
a
you
child.
serious?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's part of the charges.
Yeah.
That's part of the medical findings. Is besides the massive head injury was damage to his
Mutilation to
and
From how I'm saying the damage to his from when though? In
and
general, just in general.
well the was fresh. You could see there was
I
some.
damn sure ain't do that, sir. I'm
No,
not. I don't mess with no little kids' penis.
Okay.
I'm not no fat.
But you see where we're coming from
Yeah,
right
I do
now.
actually.
Okay,
I do.
we have a
I
kid.
didn't know all
with-
that.
Yeah, we have a kid with a major head injury. And
Okay, so where are they saying the head injury came from? They don't know. I mean, I'm not saying
well,
they don't
you're
know.
telling
but-
me it came from him
I know,
hitting
I know.
his head.
They can't say how it happened,
Oh, I know that. I know.
but they can't say how it couldn't have happened.
Okay.
Okay, they can say it did not happen by a simple fall. Okay,
Man,
it's
but
physically
I'm like,
impossible.
I'm nowhere near the only person that watches this kid though. Like as far as that other
Okay.
shit, man, I ain't do no.
But
That's
once this
crazy
kid
shit.
was hurt, there would have been no telling that he was hurt. There would have been no mistaking that he was hurt. Okay.
Detectives straight away charged Jason with aggravated child abuse, assault, and murder after seeing the evidence. Even though he's presented with highly incriminating evidence, Jason dares to deny his involvement, despite admitting to being the only one with the child. But it's just a matter of time before the detectives expose his facade.
Like you said, he cried for 15 minutes. Has he ever cried for 15 minutes before?
Yeah.
Okay. But like I said, all this together, okay, when they did the medical exam, I said they found the damage to the, okay.
No, that's fine.
And the
That
damage
makes me
head.
look really bad, man.
But you see what I'm saying? All this it comes together
What up?
and it makes you look really bad.
Yeah, it does.
It makes you look like a real monster.
It does.
Okay? It looks
Yeah,
like
I
the
know.
kid, it looks like the kid was tortured. That's what it looks like.
Remember
Okay.
when we put you in
Damn,
the
wow.
car and I said people are either going to draw conclusions from the evidence and think you're a monster, or you can tell us the truth. And I know it's not as bad as what people are going to make it out to be,
Hell no,
but
man.
you did more than that.
Okay.
And
I swear I didn't, man. He was upstairs for an hour, but I don't want to put that on no little 13-year-old girl, man.
Yeah.
You already confirmed when I talked to you the first time that kid
I'm
came
talking
back
about his
fine.
nuts and all. I didn't change his diaper.
I'm
He was in
talking.
the
Well,
shower.
you gave him a
Yeah,
bath.
he wasn't bruised
He's
up.
naked in the
Yeah.
bath. How did you not see it on his?
He wasn't when Whitney had him at the hospital.
How did you not see it in the bath?
Okay,
You
listen
gave
to me.
him a
Hold
bath,
on,
correct?
hold on. You like to do that. That's not necessary.
Wait. How did you not see
Okay,
his
you gonna
bruised?
listen. When me and Whitney took him to the hospital and they stripped this child down, this child didn't have a bruise on his. This child didn't have a red mark on his thigh. This child didn't have anything wrong with him. So if there wasn't nothing wrong
He
with
was
his.
life flighted to Arnold Palmer.
No, you're not.
in
I'm not
grave
talking about.
condition.
I'm not
How
talking
could you
about his
say he
head
had
injury,
no?
sir. Please, man. Like I know I can say.
Wait, how
I
did
don't
he
wanna
get the
talk-
head injury? How did he get the head injury?
I told you how he got the head injury, sir. What I'm saying, listen. You're talking about. I am talking about his injuries to his was in his, sir. When we took him to the hospital and they took his clothes off him and put him in the thing.
How would you see his? Did you?
I'm not talking about his. I'm talking about his. Didn't I just come? What? Like I want to sit here and talk to you guys. I know all I got to say, like you said, is I don't want to talk anymore, and I go back there. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we're
what
here
I'm-
for you.
But what I'm saying to you is, when he was stripped naked on that hospital bed at Holmes.
From his conversation, a disturbing realization dawns on the detective. Jason seems to be more preoccupied with defending himself rather than showing any kind of emotion towards the grim fate Aiden had suffered. Seeing this, the detective takes up an evidence-based approach of interrogation where they categorically attempt to contest Jason's defense by presenting cold, hard evidence. However, what Jason is about to say next is going to cost him more than he realizes.
You weren't even there. You left because you said you were afraid of getting arrested.
What?
You left the hospital. You left Whitney
Aren't
at
you
the
the person?
hospital.
Aren't you the person that knocked on the window?
Hold on.
Holmes, sir. Holmes.
Did
You're not
you
listening to
leave?
me.
Did you leave
Why
Holmes
does he want to
Regional
listen to me?
Hospital?
When did you leave the hospital?
When you knocked on the car window, sir, you woke me up from sleep in the car.
Did you leave before that?
No, I did not.
You were not.
I went outside
wait,
to smoke
hold
a
on.
cigarette.
Did you have to be called back to the hospital?
Oh yeah, yes sir. I went to smoke a cigarette into the store to give her something to drink, or so I asked her if she wanted anything. All I had was a food stamp card.
So Chris Plum's lying?
About what? That was at 4:00 in the morning after you, sir. Yes, it was. I've talked to Chris. Yes,
Yeah, we know you talked to Chris. He told us you told him what to say.
I told him what to say.
Yes. I'm telling you, man, you think these people are your friends?
No,
They
sir.
think you're a monster.
No, sir.
I'm just being straight with you, Jason.
Okay.
All right? I told you, I'm not sitting here at 2 a.m. lying to you that Chris
Okay.
Plum told us that.
When you backed out of my house at 3:30 in the morning, I
Yep.
went up to Chris's house
Yep,
and knocked on
I
his
know
door.
that. That's what he
I
told
did
us.
not leave the hospital and go anywhere. You can ask the black security guard. He's the one that seen me walking back from across the street. I was by Circles of Care.
Mhm.
I was just walking around smoking a cigarette. I did not leave and go back to the house. I did not say, "Oh, I'm leaving the hospital because I don't want to get arrested." Because if I was afraid to leave if I was afraid I was going to get arrested, when they called me back,
Did you
I wouldn't have
ever
came back.
say that you were afraid of being arrested? To anyone?
Oh, of course I was like, man, I know they're going to try to take me to jail for this.
Why, if it's an accident?
Because Whitney called me on the phone and was like, "Hey, baby, they're saying, what'd you do to my baby? They're saying that what you
Yeah,
said."
but that wasn't. When was that?
The day I left. I was still there when she called me on the phone. I was
Still
in
where?
Arnold Palmer Hospital at the Ronald McDonald House. She calls me on the phone screaming, telling me to come meet her. I come around the corner and she comes screaming, "Oh, you killed my baby, Jason. Tell me what you did." I was like, "Man, don't say that. Don't accuse me of that." Because they're going to
Well,
okay, well, they're going to say that I killed your baby and they're going to want to take me to jail. You out here screaming all that. Man, I'm not no murderer. I'm not a murderer.
have
man.
you ever struck him in the head?
No.
Okay. We have 5 witnesses saying that they have seen you close fist punch him in the head, slap him in the face, drag him across the parking lot,
That's a lie.
twist his ear,
That's a lie.
strike him, throw him off a scooter, and then hit him with it.
Right from the get-go, Jason is in deep trouble. Before even stepping into the interrogation room, he had made a crucial mistake, asking his neighbor Chris if he would go to jail or not. Jason knows what he's done, yet shows no concern for the life he'd taken. His main concern is to disprove the claims he himself made and find a way out of the grave he dug himself into. But the detectives are already aware of what happened and have more than enough evidence to have him cornered. All that's left is to see how long Jason can continue to put on this facade.
Listen to me. He's not lying. Okay,
He's
people,
got to be.
listen to me.
Everyone's lying.
Listen
but
to
you.
me. People have said that. Okay?
Well, the only,
Can I talk to you?
the only time that scooter is ever at my house is when my 3 sons are there. I got a 9-year-old son that will tell you I
So the
never
rest
did
is
that.
true, but the scooter's not?
None of it's true.
Yeah, listen to me. This is what people said. Okay? He's speaking the truth. I mean, we had detectives out there all day doing stuff. People were coming up and telling us that. Okay?
I talked to
Now, okay,
a bunch of people. I know.
okay. Now listen to me. So we have that, all that stuff. Okay? Making you look bad. Okay? I'm not saying I'm taking sides. I don't believe anybody right now. Okay?
Everybody's took a side already.
Okay. Well, let me talk. Okay?
Because we don't have yours.
Okay. Now, listen to me. We have that, okay? And like I said, we have these injuries, okay? Now, with the rear end part, I'm still not decided what that means yet.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
listen to
not
me.
man.
But there was enough evidence because of his injuries to charge you with that battery, okay? Okay, so you're the only one with them. And then we have a head injury, which the medical examiner said that there's no way it could have caused by a simple fall, okay? Now we got all these things building up against you, okay? Now, the part's debatable. What people say, debatable, okay? Because that's people talking. People talk. What's not debatable is the head injury, okay? What I'm trying to get is that if we don't have the whole truth about that,
If I
okay,
sit here and I'm trying to run back everything that happened that day that I could have possibly done to injure that child's head like that, man, and I can't come up with a single
Okay.
thing.
but see what I'm trying to say here is that, okay, I'm willing to give you on some of these things, okay? Because there's a long way between somebody, I had kids, when some things happen that shouldn't happen because you get angry, and when somebody tortures a child, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Like,
I don't think you're the type that would torture a child, okay? Just by talking to you.
In the interrogation room, detectives leaned into the classic good cop, bad cop routine. One calm and reassuring, the other firm and pressing. Together, they started tugging at loose threads. By giving him the benefit of the doubt, they worked to earn Jason's trust. He claims to remember everything, but with each sentence, his version of events changed.
sir.
Okay, I understand. And we talked to your ex-wife, see how you treat those boys, DCS has talked to them. We see how you treat your boys, okay? You don't seem like the type that would torture a young child, okay? Okay? And that's what I'm trying to work with you here on that, okay? Maybe you don't deserve all these charges because you got 5 different charges on you because of the damage to his body, okay? See what I'm saying?
But one thing I know about the state of Florida, sir, is nothing I tell you or anybody else is going to make a difference. When I get in the courtroom with all this stuff y'all are saying, they're going to hang me.
Okay, but what if we can explain
But
part of it?
Just be honest. And if you made a mistake and you had a temporary lapse in judgment and snap and said, look, I punched him. All right. Well, it doesn't make it look like you punched him 10 times because he had 10 hemorrhages in his head. Okay? Just be honest, man. You screwed up. You made a mistake and we got the evidence. We're not saying you're a bad dad. Okay? No one said you're a bad dad, to be honest. I don't think you set out that day and said, I'm killing Aiden. For whatever reason, I don't know what the trigger was, but something happened that day.
Nothing.
You didn't mention to me that you were smoking marijuana.
You didn't ask.
Well, come on, man. You didn't mention Amber and Tim came
I
over.
forgot.
You conveniently
They were in
leave
my
out
house. I just
details,
forgot. So you got to understand, you woke me up out of my sleep at 3:30 in the morning.
but you conveniently told me every single detail about the bath and the slipping and the
Yeah,
toothbrush.
I
And
forgot about
you knew
Tim
that
and
those
Amber. That
details,
shit wasn't
but
nothing, man. They were
But to be
outside.
honest, I could give a shit less about weed, okay?
Mm.
I don't care. I'm worried about a kid that was beaten to death. Know what bothers me the most is the ME said that if he got immediate medical treatment, he would have survived. At that time, you were up playing Xbox in Chris Plum's apartment.
Actually, I was in my apartment, so I was showing him how to play my Xbox.
Well, we have witnesses seeing you go up to that
That's what I'm
apartment
saying.
twice for 20 minutes. Not,
Oh, yeah,
we're,
yeah, I
we're,
went
we're
up there
not
to smoke.
going,
I
we're
didn't
not
go to
saying
play.
long,
No.
and
Okay.
I'm not saying you did drugs those times.
I-
I'm not saying you did drugs those times.
Okay.
You went up, it was something to do with a game, right? He was showing you how to do something with a game.
I was showing him how to do something with the game. With the
Okay.
same thing.
You know, this reiterates that what I'm telling you, you know I'm not lying. You know that Chris was honest with me and told me, because if you're agreeing, then obviously I'm telling the truth.
Well, I talked to Chris on the phone yesterday and said not to be rude, but he said you were,
Actually,
and
I
that you
didn't.
tried your best to get him to say whatever it was that you wanted him to say, and he told you straight up he wasn't in the apartment and he didn't have nothing to do with it.
That's funny because I didn't talk to him yesterday.
No, he talked to me yesterday and said he talked to him the day before.
Well, you know what? I am a when a
I don't know.
2-year-old
I
gets
understand that.
beaten.
I understand.
I am
that.
a
He said you kept accusing him and saying he was going to be an accessory or something like that. I don't know.
well, you know,
I'm just going by what he said. so I
when
don't
you
know.
protect someone and a person like yourself that uses intimidation on people, you know, that's what happens. People do lie. Because everyone that I've talked to seems to say you can go from 0 to 10 like that. And I think that's what happened to Aiden. Something pissed you off and you went from 0 to 10 and
What
you
could a
can't take it back.
22-month-old child that can't even speak
Nothing.
piss me off?
Nothing but something, because he's in a freezer right now in the ME's office. So something happened. Do you not disagree with that something happened?
Yes, sir.
How is he dead? You tell me. You were the only one else in that apartment by your own statement. So tell me.
When I was in the apartment with Aiden, I didn't do anything to him, sir.
So the back didn't
The
happen.
only time that child was awake and out of my sight was maybe for an hour and a half when he went upstairs. That's it. Maybe 45
Just out of
minutes.
precaution, why didn't you just call the rescue? Just get him checked out. He fell. He slipped on the tub.
My kids
He
do.
looks fine, but can you just check his vitals? Just check him over. I want to make sure he's all right.
My kids fall all the time, sir. I never thought
He
nothing of it.
drowned in blood in his head. He drowned in his own blood.
Throughout the interrogation, detectives backed Jason into a corner before calmly raising a critical question. If he was already aware that Aiden had been injured during his bath, why didn't he take any precautions? Doctors had also confirmed that the injuries were entirely preventable. Was it carelessness? This question will soon lead the detectives to an even darker discovery. Just 10 days before Aiden's death, the Department of Children and Families had received reports of drug use and a DUI involving a child. At the time, a safety plan was issued for the couple to follow. However, Jason was not the one to follow the rules. With no room left for excuses, detectives pressed further, determined to uncover whether this was a moment of sudden rage as he was intoxicated, or part of a much darker, more methodical scheme.
I believe you loved him,
To death.
but I think something upset you. And unfortunately, you know, we have statements from people saying you were screaming at him, saying, I told you to go to bed, go to sleep. And then all you hear is crying for 15 minutes and you yelling. Come on, man. We got multiple statements from people saying that. Is that a lie?
Yes, sir. How can they say?
I'm telling you,
Understand
don't ask me questions back. Okay, well,
I didn't kill this kid.
Who gave him massive brain hemorrhages?
Wasn't me, sir. I mean,
Who tore his?
how can I?
Who gave him
I have a question.
hepatitis C?
I don't have hepatitis C.
Well, someone gave him it.
Cool, 'cause I ain't got that. So now what?
When's the last time you went to the doctor?
I just got out of prison, sir.
How
I
long
haven't been
ago?
sleeping with nobody but my baby's mother. And
Would you
Whitney.
be willing to take a test for hepatitis C?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. And if
When
I
did you
don't,
get out of prison? Or was it prison or county jail?
jail, prison, both.
But
I went-
remember, hepatitis C didn't kill him.
I understand that, sir, but the person who did this to him might have had hepatitis C, right? Is what you saying?
No, that's just
No.
that's something else they
That's
found.
just another fact that we
And
found out.
you
after
can't
he
tell
died.
how long he's had it either.
He
could
didn't
have had
die
it-
from hepatitis.
He could have had
I know
it for a while and us not know it.
Like we said, we don't know the tear in the could have been from injuries. It doesn't necessarily mean that you were having them.
Oh,
There
okay,
are
I know
other,
that.
you know, I'm not saying
I know I wasn't having little
the
tearing.
problem is we have evidence, but we don't know because Aiden's dead and you're the only one that knows. So that's why we need to interpret. Do we need to charge him with this? The evidence is showing the torn, but there could be an
But
explanation.
let's get back to the story. He's standing on the toilet. Is that right?
He what?
He's standing on the toilet
Yes, sir.
before this all happens. And what are you doing?
I was brushing his teeth, sir.
Okay. And what happened?
I turned around to rinse his toothbrush off, and he fell over backwards
Okay. Where did he land?
in between the toilet and the tub,
Was he face up or face down?
face up.
Face up. And he was crying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how long do you think he cried?
Already 15 minutes, sir.
Okay.
10 minutes. I already told you.
Okay.
I mean, I'm saying,
And what did you do next?
I picked him up, and the first thing, Chris heard him crying. The first thing I asked Chris, man, does he look all right? Like Amber even seen him before I put him to bed, man. He was walking around eating a Twizzler. He was all right. He was
You
sitting
said
on the
Amber
couch.
saw that too.
Huh?
You said Amber saw it too.
Amber seen him afterward, after the shower incident. They seen him.
What time was that?
Oh, 8 o'clock, sir. 8, I don't know.
And
So
how did she see him?
She was outside. They were at my
Outside
house.
your apartment?
Outside. They were at Chris's house, but when Chris came down, they came down with him.
He did go to bed injured, and we have evidence of that.
Okay, I know that, but I'm saying
How did he have blood on his onesie, on his crotch and buttocks? Explain to me that.
he didn't.
You want to bet? You left it in a bag, hanging on the bed.
Whitney took his shirt. Oh yeah, no, the blood. He did have blood in his mouth and on his
So
crotch.
how's it get? How's
Maybe
it
right here.
covering his crotch?
Oh no.
Okay,
Oh,
he would have had to lost every teeth for that much blood to get on his crotch, and his whole crotch is blood,
no.
man.
Okay, so where did the blood come from, sir? There wasn't a blood in his diaper or nothing.
Are you kidding me?
There was blood in his diaper.
Are you kidding me?
I
You're
watched
asking me where the blood came from.
You're not
Are you?
listening to me, sir. I'm just trying to. I want it for myself. I'm asking questions too now.
It's what you did to him. That's what the blood came
What I'm
from.
saying is, if there was blood all
The
over this,
15 minutes of crying and screaming and you yelling, go to bed, and the kids screaming, that's when it happened. You want the answer? That's when it happened. You can shake your head. You know it. And we got the evidence
so
to
if I
prove
did
it.
something to hurt him and there was blood all over the place, you think I'm dumb enough not to throw the?
That's exactly what every one of us said, too. He couldn't be that dumb.
I did. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You were panicked. You got a history of violence, but you never took it this far. You never came to murder. And you couldn't think. You were scared to death.
He claims to be a dead man torn by remorse. The same man who tortured an innocent to death now wants sympathy. But just like his expressions, the facts of the case refuse to support his story. Jason claims Aiden simply slipped off the toilet while brushing his teeth, but the detectives are equipped with his neighbor Chris's testimony, where he recounts Aiden having a cut lip and a bump on his head. Backed up with the autopsy report, it was evident that there were signs of trauma before the so-called fall. It isn't just a contradiction, it's a cover-up slowly coming apart. And as the evidence piles up, Jason's eerie calm doesn't seem like grief. It seems like something far colder.
Rightfully
You know
so.
what? I can see. After what he said just right now, that hits you right there. Okay, I can tell. You know, you're not a stupid person. You're not a criminal. You know, you've got a past, but basically you're a good person inside.
Not no more.
Okay? There's always a chance for you.
It's just a dead man, sir. Just
Okay.
a dead man walking.
There's always a future. There's always things that can happen. Okay?
There's nothing that can happen.
Okay.
So at the very least, be a stand-up guy and tell the truth. I mean, what do you got to lose? Either you look like, at least you can say, look, I was a man and I freaking said what happened and I stood up. No one can call you a girl, or you can go to jail, stick another toilet story, that's fine. But we all know that's not what happened. The jury's not going to think that's what happened. We're going to have a mountain of evidence. But if you tell me, look, this is what happened, this is how we hit his head, look, it just got out of control. I'm not trying to put words in it. I just want to hear what happened. Whitney wants to know what happened. A lot of people want answers. Why did this 2-year-old die? And you're the only one with those. And if I could plead with you, I would, but I don't know if it would work. But a lot of people want answers. And hopefully someday they'll get them. And you're the only one that can do that, man.
I got this ring right here, sir.
Yep.
If I handed it to you right now, nobody knows I'm wearing it. Could you give it back to her? It's her father's.
Yeah, I would do that, man. I'm not here to make your life any worse.
Who's that for?
It's Whitney's.
Let me grab I'll put it in an envelope.
I can't prove it because I didn't see it. Only thing I know for sure is this massive head injury, where there had so much bleeding inside his head that when they went to do the exam, his brain practically flew out of the skull because there was so much pressure. Because when you damage especially a child brain, not like I said, this can be just from a fall, is that it swells to the point where it almost explodes.
So they're saying it could be blunt force trauma, but it couldn't happen from a fall.
Well,
I'm
no,
just asking.
no, and I'll explain it. It's the toilet was 17 inches high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we took measurements. In fact, you gave me
I
a
gave you
that day.
that.
Because of Aiden's height, when he fell back, him falling back, he wouldn't have hit his head. He would actually hit his back. And then he would have, we did experiments and then we did all this. And that's why when I was saying we can disprove that just can't happen. And he had a bruise over here on his
Yeah,
eye.
that honestly, that there was not from
Okay.
me, and his mother will attest to that. He got
Okay.
hit in the face with a scooter the day before.
And do you see how easily something like that's explained away?
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, well, I believe you. Okay. How did he have 5 brain hemorrhages in his head? Was he shaking? Go to sleep, Aiden. Or was it, like I said, he could have been shaken too. The injuries, although you think one's an impact and one's just shaking, they have similar diagnoses and symptoms. And the doctor said it's either multiple blunt force trauma or shaken.
So they're trying to say, I'm just asking. When you say multiple blunt force trauma would mean that I punched this kid in his head until he was dead or something to that effect?
Yep.
Without a knot.
I don't want to misquote.
I'm just asking.
I don't want to misquote, so
I
I want to look.
understand that.
Even in the face of undeniable evidence, Jason continues to deny everything. It takes a special kind of arrogance to think he can get away without consequences by simply denying cold hard facts. From the extent of the trauma inflicted, it's harrowing to imagine what the 2-month-old had to go through at the hands of this apathetic monster. As the interrogation continues, the detectives methodically break apart anything Jason has to say for himself. Against the detective's evidence-based approach, soon there'll be nowhere left for Jason to run.
Is that the force that this injury occurred, okay, was he compared to as an automobile accident. if you didn't have your seatbelt on. The violent tossing, okay, is that violent, he said. And that's what, because he tries to put it on, because I don't understand the medical terms. He said, this is about as simple as that I can put it. That violent of an automobile accident. Okay. And the trouble is with these injuries is that it's all inside the head. There's no external. Okay. It don't even have to be a big bump or anything. Because the bruising's not between your skin and your skull. It's between your brain and your skull and there. And it hits there. So the bruising's all on the inside and the bleeding's all on the inside. And it has no place to go. And it continues to swell and bleed. And that's what causes the death. Okay. So you could do something to him and not realize it at first or what happened. When it comes down to it, the pure and simple, Jason, that you're the only person there. Okay? That's the pure and simple of it. I don't think you're a person that tortured this young child and killed him. Okay? I think it wasn't that you did something that was regrettable, something you shouldn't have done, because you probably all I can think is you lost your temper for a split second and did something that caused this extreme injury to him.
With no plausible explanation, Jason's involvement becomes undeniable. On the surface, it seems as if he's trying to understand what happened to Aiden, but the reality is he's looking for ways to prove himself not responsible for the death. Jason's contradictory statements blatantly show a man scrambling for words to get himself out of the very mess he made. When interviewing his girlfriend Whitney, she revealed a chilling detail. Jason had been increasingly frustrated by the fact that an innocent child was getting in the way of his alone time. It's a revealing moment that underscores his growing jealousy, selfishness, and disregard for a helpless child, adding a dark, twisted layer to the story.
And that's just a simple fact of it. There's really no getting around it. And and I don't want you to go to trial or go before a judge and making you look like you're some animal.
It's gonna happen anyway.
Okay. Everybody can, even though it's against the law, there's no getting around it when you lost your temper and this happened. But it's a far cry from somebody who just went overboard and tortured a child. Like I said, when they came up with those other injuries, I was totally surprised.
I was shocked too.
Yeah, I was going, what? That doesn't make sense.
Like,
Okay.
I'm saying, how long, the tearing his, how old was it? That's what I'm
There's no time.
Oh.
It could have been like if, say, you grabbed him down there and picked him up forcibly by like his crotch area. It could have been caused
Oh, I used to
that
bounce
way.
him on my knee all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
like,
no, I didn't. That's what I'm
to
saying.
be honest,
I'm not far from
The bruise didn't kill
I know.
Yeah.
him. The injuries to the head. So that's really
Still
what
gonna
we're
come up in
concerned
court.
with.
That's
Okay.
oh.
But the doctor's still looking at that stuff. He's looking at, because
Tissue samples.
the tissue samples, they look how deep is the injury and stuff. And that takes a while. So that's why I'm not putting a lot of stock in that. I'm not.
He even
I
said, I'm not
wouldn't-
going to conclude until I do more tests.
Okay,
So-
he's not going to be done till after this weekend. That's how many hours he's putting into this study. Okay.
Just when the detective thought it couldn't get worse, a disturbing detail surfaced. Doctors found blunt force trauma around Aiden's crotch. The word assault enters the room like a thunderclap, and Jason realizes that the walls are closing in. And just like that, he cracks, not to confess, but to twist the story in a desperate bid to save himself.
And like I said, the only thing for sure is the head injury.
I mean, we just want We just want to know what happened. Plain and simple.
Because you can make your, so once you lie, then anything else nobody's going to believe. Okay.
Yeah, so if I change my story now, no one else is gonna believe.
What would you, of course. I mean, obviously you're crying, so you care. So obviously you do care. If you sit here and stand in front of me and tell me, look, this is what happened, why would I not believe you? Like I said, the evidence is going to prove whether your story is the truth.
Do you think I can tell if you're telling a lie or not?
Pretty damn good.
Yeah,
Okay.
with the toilet, we knew you're lying. So I will know if you're telling the truth.
And I didn't even see the physical evidence. Just talking to you, I can
That's
tell.
what you're in here for.
So why don't you go ahead and tell me?
What pieces do you remember?
Enough.
Start with that.
When he slipped and fell, did you pick him up?
Yeah, he was alright, I guess.
Okay. Where did you take him then?
In the room, we got him dressed, regular stuff.
Okay. Was he still crying?
Yeah, for a little bit. He really did cry for about 15 minutes, though. When he
Okay.
fell. I don't know. Chris will tell you
Okay.
that.
Then what led to the something had to trip you, something had to cause this to happen?
What have you been denying for so long?
I really don't know what happened to the kid's balls. I really don't.
Okay.
Like, to be honest with you.
Take
Or
that and
I
throw
have.
that right off the table.
But I'm just in general though, like these accusations. You said you couldn't speak for me, so I'm just saying, like, with his ass and his balls, I don't know.
Okay.
I like to believe that. I'm halfway there.
I just blacked out.
Where did that happen? In the bedroom? Was he in the crib?
At first, Whitney called me and told me to check on him after the fall, because I did call her at work and tell her he fell.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in there to check on him, but he wasn't asleep. I didn't care that he wasn't asleep. I wasn't mad that he wasn't asleep.
Did he wet the bed?
No, yeah, I don't remember if he went. No. I changed his diaper, but he hadn't wet the bed. I was trying to prevent that. She asked me to take his shirt off because it was hot in the house. I told her, man, it's hot as f-. She's like, man, take his shirt off and change his diaper. He was already up. So I picked him up out the crib. And when I picked him up out the crib, kind of like, you can ask Whitney, he used to like play with me all the time, but he punched me in the eye, like playing, and I dropped him on his head. And he was all right, I guess. And I was changing his diaper, but I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad at him when I dropped him because he punched me in the eye. I was all right, you know what I'm saying? It frustrated me, but damn, I was more worried about like, I just dropped the jit, you know what I'm saying? On the back of his head from 6 feet in the air, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but he looked all right. And then I was changing his diaper, and it was. So he got up with the poop on him, and he tried to run. So I grabbed him by his neck, and I, you know what I'm saying? I just snatched him back, like, God damn, Aiden, what are you doing? And he fell again. He hit his head. I grabbed him by front of his leg. I was like, hold on, man, where you going? Don't run, we got shit on you. You know what I'm saying? And he fell and hit his head on the ground again. Boom. And I was like, God damn, man. And he kept rolling around on the floor like he wasn't anywhere or nothing, but he just wouldn't lay still. And I kept yelling at him like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't yelling, go to bed. I was yelling like, you gotta go to bed, you know what I'm saying? Like, stop, man, I'm trying to. All I want to do is get you dressed, stop fucking, you know what I'm saying? And then he started crying because I yelled at him. I don't even remember shaking him that hard.
Detectives press in and Jason's story begins to splinter. First, it's a slip while brushing his teeth. Then a drop of 6 feet. Maybe a rough diaper change. Maybe he hit the toilet. Each version shifts, each excuse thinner than the last. It's clear that he's trying to come up with an excuse to evade taking responsibility for what he's done. He admits to being too rough, but not enough to kill. His words aren't a confession, They're damage control. And beneath every denial, the truth keeps leaking out.
Did you shake him though? Yeah.
It sucks, man. It does suck. It's sad.
Yes, I was rolling in the back of his head, and I was like, oh, hey, come on, man, what's up with you? And he could kind of like, he was all right-ish, not at all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think there was no way, man. The first time he hit his head on the ground, though, he fell hard, man.
Was it the changing table on top of
No,
the crib?
no, the floor. Never used the changing
Oh,
table. He was way too big for that. Way too big.
Mm-hmm.
And I originally, I was changing his diaper and I had his hand in my hand, his arms were on top, and I was holding him. And I said, baby, what's wrong with you, man? I said, why you punch me? I wasn't mad at him, really, you know what I'm saying? And then when he didn't even cry really from that fall. Like, your man knocked him dumb, though, you know what I'm saying? The way he didn't even, because I could look at him after he fell the first time, man, and he was a little like,
It sounds like what you're saying is that it might have just been the shaking. You know, the fall, he may have been okay.
And then I went back in the room a little later. I went up to Chris's after that, and I was like, I wanted to tell Chris, like, Chris, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if this nigga's doing all right. I just kind of dropped him on. I don't really remember, like, the whole shaking thing. Like, I know I was like, yo, little, like you said, it could have been, I don't know.
Did you pick him up, like, what you said while he was running? Did you pick him up and like, hey, like, kind of, calm down, what are you doing?
No, when he tried to run away from me, I was on the floor, and I just kind of, like, grabbed his leg, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, get back here. And I grabbed and snatched his foot, and it spun, like, it just spun around again, you know what I'm saying?
Like, when you were saying, were you holding him by his arms, or how were you holding him?
Like I said, I had his head like this, and he kept, like, screaming and kicking and pushing me away, and I was like, hey, just stop. Like, there's no need for that. Hey, man, I just want to change your diaper, put you to bed, and do what I was doing. And then he stopped.
Finally, detectives are closing in on the truth. They can see that Jason is trying desperately to make his story believable, but it's too late. With so much information in hand, they shifted the focus to what drove him to commit such a horrific act.
And I believe it. I believe that's right, because even that little bit was a little kick.
It wasn't even really, I can't say it was just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody says, oh, Jason, you know how strong you are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just wanted him to stop crying because I didn't mean to drop him, you know what I'm saying? And when I didn't mean to drop him, but I'm talking about when I grabbed his leg more than anything. Like, dropping him originally, if you poked me in the eye, was an honest to God. He hit the floor on accident.
Is it possible when you grabbed his leg, maybe that's how his... I don't think you...
No,
I said it from freaking day one.
I touch anyone, a man, let alone a child. It's a man.
But is it possible when you grabbed his leg, that's how his... Maybe it caught, like, his... Like, I'm trying to work with you here. I don't know
what happened with his...
Is it possible that, like, when you grabbed him, that's how... Did you grab him by the crotch? That's why I asked how you picked him up. When at any point.
I never picked him up by his nuts, sir.
But like you said, you had his head here. Where was his body? When you said like his head was here.
Yeah, I had him laid on his back on the ground. I had found after he fell, boom, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even drag him to me, you know what I'm saying? After he fell, I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I picked him up and he was screaming. Yeah, I picked him up off the ground just regularly, you know what I'm saying? I didn't pick him up by his nuts, no. I just picked him up and he was screaming. I was like, baby, stop.
So he was laying on his back, and how were you? Were you on like your knees? If he's laying on his back, like were you like,
originally, I was like that, and then when he was crying, I went to talk to him, so I got on my elbows, you know what I'm saying? I had his head in my hands, like this? Yeah, and he was underneath me with his legs like spread over my knees-ish, you know what I'm saying?
Did he have his diaper on at that time or no?
Yeah, because I had just the whole changing and he tried to run. I pulled him back over and he was crying. I threw the diaper on him, threw powder on him, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, stop crying. What are you crying for? You want candy? The same thing that got him to stop crying earlier. I couldn't get him to stop crying. And when I was shaking him, I just was like, ah! And I let his head hit the ground again.
It sounds odd, but where'd you put the diaper?
Probably in the poop thing.
Okay, because I saw there was a diaper in the poop can and the.
Yeah, I think I put it in the poop thing. That's even where I pooped.
So you said that you did that again.
Yeah, when I had my elbows up and I had them like this. I lifted them up to me and I was like, "Hey, why don't you just stop?" And and boom, he hit his head again. And as he was like rolling a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
His eyes were rolling back. Was that the third time he hit his head?
Actually, I'd say the fourth because he really fell in the bathroom.
Okay, so that's okay. And then his eyes started rolling back, and what happened then?
I
Did you put him to bed or?
lost it. I didn't know what else. I didn't know he was f***ed up like that, but I knew I banged his head on the ground. You know what I'm saying? A couple times in the last 5 minutes here. You know, and I just didn't know what to do.
Were you afraid like if I call the rescue or something, I'm done. I'm screwed.
Not really. I wasn't, honestly, I didn't think that I didn't think at all actually, but I didn't think that nothing that honestly in my heart as a father, didn't think anything that other than the original drop was far enough to hurt him, sir.
And you're hoping that
Yeah, when I put him to bed, I'm talking about he just stopped crying. He stopped crying and I was like, okay, you done now? And he kind of like looked up at me and he wasn't limp or nothing though when I picked him up, you know what I'm saying? He was still kind of squirmy but he didn't have a full fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just laid him in bed and I was like, yo, do you want your baba? And he didn't even want it.
Do you know what time that was when that all happened?
10
o'clock or so?
ish.
Okay.
Even after his detailed confession, Jason surprisingly still thinks he can manipulate the detectives into accepting his excuse for not calling any help after the incident. The evidence is undeniable, yet he tries to spin his version of events with a chilling sense of control, as if the facts somehow don't matter. Determined to peel back the layers, the detectives turn their attention to the aftermath of the crime, searching for any trace of deeper planning or outside involvement.
Was he on the couch or in the bed?
In the bed, when she got home, he was in the bed.
Okay.
Is that where you put him?
Yeah, because I you know what I'm saying, after the diaper was changed, I really personally, like I said, there weren't any, I checked, you know what I'm saying, there wasn't a bump or, you know what I'm saying, or nothing like that. So it wasn't like, I did all the routine. I didn't know that, oh, well, if a kid bumps his head and there's no knot, well, most likely the damage is internal. You know what I'm saying? They didn't tell me that till the next day.
Well, the one thing that the blood, like I think in a way you could be right about like you didn't see blood, but I'm trying to figure out how he got it. Like he may have been laying there and there could have dripped. I don't know.
Mm-mm. Like I honestly, this onesie.
So God's honest truth, you didn't see blood on his face or anything.
No, I didn't see blood on him, and if I did, honestly, at that point, I would have tried to cover it up. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have. I'm not that scary. You know what I'm saying? I would have tried to cover it up, sir. I didn't know there was any blood until Whitney got home.
Okay.
And the blood on his crotch, sir, I would like to say I hung his onesie over the crib. It wasn't in a bag or nothing. And Whitney was trying to wipe his mouth out with something to try to see in his mouth. So if she wiped his mouth out with the onesie, that's cool. But I didn't put him to bed with no blood. Obviously, there wasn't no blood in his pillow or nothing like that, was there? That's what I'm saying.
The reason I ask is so I can explain it. You know, they'll say to me, well, how does he explain the blood? And it could be that.
I really don't remember what happened with the blood. He wasn't bleeding when I put the blood on the sheets or no, he was not bleeding when I put him to bed. He was fine.
Walk me through what time does Whitney get home?
By 11:20.
Okay, so that's still the same.
Yeah.
She gets out of work at 11 and 20 minutes to get home?
Yeah, maybe 10, 15 minutes.
What happens when she comes in the house?
I met her outside of the car and was like, baby, you might want to go check on him. You know what I'm saying? I went in there earlier to check on him. And she was like, all right, I'll go check. I just knew. When she screamed in the other room, oh my God, he's breathing funny.
What does breathing sound like? Did it sound like?
I don't know. I wasn't in the room. I wasn't in the room. I was in the other room. I heard it through the monitor. That same monitor I showed you.
You said you knew. When she went to go check, you knew.
I just had a feeling in my heart, you know what I'm saying? And when he was laying in that bed, I didn't think he was dying, though. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he might have had a concussion or
sinking feeling.
Yeah, I did. Like I felt all right all night until that girl got home, and she asked me how's my baby, and something in me was just like, ugh, like that's a good question. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how he is.
That shows remorse.
No matter how clever Jason tries to appear in front of the detectives, his words keep exposing more than he intends. He claims he was in the other room, listening through the monitor to check if Aiden was breathing. But the truth cuts deeper. He wasn't concerned. He just wanted to know if the child was still alive. It wasn't guilt driving him. It was fear. And with red flags mounting and the evidence closing in, detectives know exactly what they need to do next.
And
That shows you're human.
I ain't never beat him and slap him and punch him and all that. That's a goddamn lie, man.
Okay, I just want to explain what's going to happen to you. The charges have to stand for right
I
now.
know that.
Okay. To do the official charges, they have 33 days. And now that'll be the final charges they'll decide. And we'll show the state attorney what you told us, okay, and explain, this story, okay. Okay, and like I said, the medical examiner is still going to be working all this weekend trying to come up with.
I want to know, like,
What? Just on the hepatitis, do you know anyone with hepatitis?
do I?
Yeah. Did Whitney ever mention, like, he could have been born with it? Maybe
I don't
she
know.
didn't mention
Maybe
it.
she
but-
has it. I don't know. I might have.
Well, she took
See,
a
now that-
test, the results haven't come back, so we're just trying to explain it. That
That's
was
what I'm
kind of
saying.
like
Now,
a
let me
weird
ask you a
thing.
question. If Whitney had hepatitis, I would have been back 6 months. I was with her for a year before. You know what I'm saying? No kids, no nothing. She was just a single mom.
Yeah.
I mean, a single woman, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? No nothing. And I was only back for 6 months. So if she caught hepatitis before that,
See, what
And they gave it to
I've
me
been
and
told
a
by a
baby.
nurse that when she gave birth, if she had hepatitis, she would have known. And if Aiden was born with hepatitis,
Whitney,
they would have known.
They would know now.
So
Okay.
it had to have been from birth to present. I'm just asking you, does anyone, like,
I don't
do you
know.
know anyone in the immediate that would have contact with Aiden? Because, and the medical examiner might say, this could have happened this way or that way. I'm not a doctor. I was just asking.
I don't even know how you get hep C. Other than
I
know
think it's
sex
either
is
sex or
obvious.
blood. I think sex or
Yeah.
That's what I'm
blood.
saying. Like,
He doesn't
No,
have
no,
blood
no.
transfusions or anything like
No,
that medically.
no.
So,
My question is though, like, what is stuff? Like, man,
well,
that shit comes back to be months old. You know what I'm saying?
well, then now, again, I said in 33 days, that'll all be adjusted. Okay. The major charge is dealing with his death. Okay, the two charges, either the felony first degree murder or the manslaughter.
Does it sound like I murdered somebody?
It's really hard to say.
It's
really hard to say.
negligent in his death.
Okay.
I'll go for that all day.
Okay.
Murder's
Yeah, like to murder somebody.
I don't think you
takes a
meant.
lot,
I don't
know.
think that like you said, you set out to murder. In this whole scenario, he sustained injuries which caused his death. Okay.
Yeah, but nothing. If I'd have seen like a bruise or something, I probably would have been a little bit more like, oh, I really fucked him up. But aside from the fact that I couldn't believe all that just happened with him, you know what I'm saying, and he was looking like
Yeah.
Look,
everything happened quick.
I couldn't. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. When the medical examiner gets done with all his findings, that it fits your story right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he said that the head was extreme. Okay. It wasn't just a single bump because there was so much swelling. And sometimes he may not be able to tell 2, 3, 4, 5. He won't be able to tell. He'll just be able to tell that the amount, the extreme, the swelling of the head, which means more than just a bump on the head. Like, ooh, I bumped my head.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay. So, like I said, I always try not to make any promises.
I don't want you to promise me.
I
that.
try to be
I
upfront.
just want him to tell Whitney, man.
We'll tell Whitney what you told us.
He knows what to tell her.
Okay. But that, like you said, these warrants will stand for the 33 days, and the state attorney
I
will
could have
decide.
left town yesterday, y'all.
But really, you would have been running. You're running, and we're gonna catch up with you. This would have hit it. To be honest, it would have been horrible because it would have hit that. We would have had to go to the media to find you and say, and it would have been like,
I didn't want my kids to go through none of that.
yeah, it would have spiraled out of control.
I knew.
So you did the right thing.
I knew that when the medical examiner, I told him when he got done that they were going to see. You know what I'm saying? That there was more to it than what I said, and I just.
Why'd you?
Sir, the only reason I lied to you, I'm gonna be honest, is because I didn't want to go right there.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
to be honest, I
As a
wouldn't have
man,
taken it
I'm
right
sorry.
then. There was still investigation to do. I don't,
I wasn't sure. I
there's
wanted to
more.
see my
There's always
kids.
two sides to a story.
I just want to see my kids one more time, sir.
And
I'm sorry. I lied to you.
Oh,
you don't have to.
I almost forgot. One more thing we need to do.
Despite the gravity of his actions, Jason remains oddly calm throughout the interrogation, donning an unbothered attitude. His demeanor raised even more questions about his involvement in the horrific crime. As the medical evidence mounted against him, he finally apologized, but this late attempt at remorse did little to undo the horrors he'd inflicted. Detectives, however, had no intention of letting him escape accountability for what he'd done.
If you don't mind.
What's that for?
This is it's a DNA swab. So when we go through the evidence, we see what's Whitney's.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you swab my mouth right now and test me for Hep C without my permission, then
No,
what?
this is just
You
DNA.
still do it though.
I don't.
No, not hepatitis has to be blood.
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah, hepatitis
I
is
still
blood.
want to take that test anyway. I don't know if I got it, but
Yeah,
I'm just-
yeah. This is just to get your what they call profile.
Is there any way?
Everyone
I know y'all
deserves a
can't
second
promise
chance.
me anything. Is there any way y'all can get me to protective custody in this jail? I just don't want to die tonight.
No, you will be. You will be in protective custody.
You can guarantee me that, sir?
Yes. Well, as far as battery, anytime there's anything with a child, I mean, you've been to jail more than me. You probably know the inside more than me. So, but anytime I've dealt with, I do just crimes and child cases. Usually they're in protective custody, automatic if it's crime against child.
I think even on all homicides, I think they put them in solitary for.
I think they put because they may even treat you like you're because they just assume it's such a that you're in a tough emotional state, so they're going to treat you with
If you ever come down to that point, make sure you tell them.
No, I'm good. Listen, I'm not gonna kill myself. I got kids. It's not my thing.
Yeah,
I don't
Everyone
want to
deserves
die.
a second chance in life.
Now we got this all out of the way. I don't like to get into religion too much, but there is forgiveness. Okay. Yeah. You need they have chaplains up there. They have Bible studies up there.
I've been doing all of them. Most of them dudes just go to Bible study because they're just in jail and they want.
Yeah. Doesn't
You
matter
can
what
get
they're
something
doing.
out of it.
Where it's what you need. If you need to talk to the chaplains on your own, they'll talk to you.
Could y'all do me a favor and not tell PJ?
We won't even see PJ.
Where is he? Did he go to jail?
Wait.
They arrested him.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I really sir. Out of all the things,
He didn't know about it, and he didn't protect. He wasn't hiding out, right?
He knew that what happened. He's the one that took me to Orlando Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, but he didn't know that you were wanted.
No, nobody knew I had a warrant. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, if I knew I had a warrant, I wouldn't have let y'all come knock on the door at whatever o'clock in the morning and just arrest me like that. I would have waited at least a week or two with my kids, you know what I'm saying, somewhere I knew I was safe.
Yep.
And then I'd have went ahead on and turned myself in.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had a warrant. He didn't know.
Yeah, I understand.
Nobody knew. Just yesterday, everything was fine.
We'll talk to him real quick here and decide what to do with him. But
Yeah,
we'll get you
please
back
don't
there.
do
We're
nothing to him.
going to take care of him then.
Could you find a sock, please, sir? I'm begging you.
I'll see what I can do.
Anything like a sock.
Let's see.
My foot is so
Let's
cold.
just.
As the evidence finally boxed him in, DNA, bloodstained onesie, confirmed blunt force trauma, Jason stopped defending Aiden's death and started defending himself. He begged for protective custody, not out of guilt, but fear. His remorse came too late, being undermined by hours of lies and chilling indifference. His own words had betrayed him, and all that was left was for him to face the music. And as the interrogation ended, he didn't ask for forgiveness. Rather, he asked for a sock. Moments later, Jason Padgett was indicted for the murder of Aiden Batista. Jason Padgett was charged with first-degree murder on June 29, 2020, and as the trial unfolded, the weight of his actions settled heavily over the courtroom. The jury was shown heartbreaking images of Aiden's shattered skull and the horrors the child had to endure at the hands of a selfish and uncaring man. They listened to stories of Jason Padgett's explosive temper and how his version of events kept changing, trying to protect himself at the expense of a child's life. But the moment that silenced the room came from the medical examiner. This wasn't an accident. Aiden's head injury was so severe, it looked like he'd been in a high-speed car crash. The pain he endured was real because it was inflicted on purpose. In March 2013, the judge handed down the sentence: life in prison, no parole. Behind closed doors, danger can wear a familiar face. Aiden's short life urges us to stay vigilant, speak up, and protect those who can't protect themselves. What are your thoughts on this case? Please let us know in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such content. Until then, stay safe.